Hello. I know it's been a while, but I've gotten addicted to this game so much that I decided to just play it on YouTube. Now, it's not going to be like anything fancy, no editing or whatever, but I'm going to teach you the game so that you can come with me on this journey as I keep on playing some Batomon Showdown. Now, if you don't know, I'm a big fan of auto-battling roguelikes, and Batomon Showdown is effectively an auto-battler roguelike. At the start of each run, you get to choose one of three trainers. Here we have the chemist, the youngster, and the swim coach. The chemist gives toxic monsters more poison. We could talk about that later. The youngster gets more rerolls, and the swim coach, buffs high-level water monsters. I'm a real fan of the youngster here, and my goal for every run is gonna be I'm gonna try to win, right? I want to get 10 wins, and I want to become Batomon champion. That's what you get at the very end. So I'm gonna pick youngster here. So every day, you are going to start with some amount of gold, or dollars. Dollars carry over every round, and there's no, interest mechanic. At least, not until you get to some other time. Each day, the rank of the shop will level up, which gives you more and more different kinds of Batomon. And you start every round with 4 Batomon in the shop, and 1 item. The item, once you use it, will immediately get replaced by a new Batomon from your shop. So, let's look at what we have here. We have the Pebbler, which gives shield and scales shield every single round. We have the Guardian, where if you buy it, and you keep buying bug monsters, and monsters have types, as you can see on the upper right-hand corner, the Guardian will get stronger in scale over time. And we have the Sting Guard, like on guard plus sting, right? And this one just deals a lot of damage. It has 150 damage. And then it kills itself, which is very funny. So as the youngster, the strategy I like to do is I actually don't want to use the rerolls too early. Rerolls stack, and you gain one set of 3 every day. So you kind of want to hold the rerolls until you get to higher leveled shops so that you can roll down for a really strong, blue or purple monster. So what do I do here? I think it's as simple as buying the Pebbler, using the Greenstone, which transforms the Pebbler into an uncommon monster, and that gives us the Craghorn. The Craghorn is a grass rock monster that scales every time you buy items. So now we have incentive for buying items. And one thing that I kind of don't like about this game sometimes is that if you click too fast on an item, it'll sometimes force you to buy the Mon, which is what just happened there. But, coincidentally, this is actually what I wanted to buy anyway. I don't like Sting Guard if we're playing Craghorn. Craghorn is a rock Mon, which means we kind of want to scale and we take long to fight. Sting Guard and all of the Bug Mons are more for, trying to win the early game as fast as possible. If our uncommon is a Craghorn, we kind of don't kill people fast. And Velosect? I actually have never seen this monster's name. I just call this Dragonfly. So Dragonfly is really weak right now. It technically is better DPS than Guardian and Sting Guard. But Velosect is actually one of the best scaling monsters in the game. A lot of late game things can buffs Velosect. So this is what I would have wanted to buy anyway. I fully expect us to lose this first day. Craghorn's not very strong on day 1, even for an uncommon. Especially against a shiny girl, or a lucky girl, who usually gets shiny mons. But I don't see any shiny mons on the opposing side. So this looks pretty even right now. But we are not gonna win probably because of the poison that the opponent has. So, poison is a status effect that continuously... Color me? Color me surprised that we won that. We did not deserve that win. As I was saying, poison makes you take damage every second and ignores your shield. So poison tends to start slow and ramp up. Burn is kind of like the opposite of poison. So burn it ticks twice a second. So it deals the damage faster than poison does. But burn kind of goes away. So, you know, it's like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So with poison, it's like they get applied slowly and you slowly die. Burn gets affected by shields, but if you apply a lot at once, it can eat through an entire health bar really fast. So a lot of the mons you'll see have different strategies that... Oh my gosh. What a store! Oh my gosh, what a store. So we really want to buy the greenstone. Yeah, we really want to buy the greenstone, because, again, Craghorn gets buffed every time we buy items. Okay, so this is Brawl Mantis. Brawl Mantis buffs itself and all common allies plus 8 damage if we win. So here's the strategy. We have $35. We want to win. I will take Electronade and Spinnerai. Electronade puts Shock onto your opponent. Shock is a mechanic that makes you take additional damage when taking direct damage. Effectively, what it means is that when one of your mons attacks somebody, however many shock your opponent has, they'll take that much extra damage. So you can pretend that the 40 shock on Electronade buffs all of your other mons for 40 damage every time they go. This effectively doubles the DPS of Brawl Mantis and Craghorn. And like, what, times 40s the DPS of Spinnerai? It's kind of crazy. Oh, sorry, times 12s, not times 40. So I think we're going to go into day 2 with a really strong team here, unless my opponent has somehow found a cracked opening. Here we go, Chef. Chef's ability gives buffs to fire mons, and you might notice that this mon is not default fire. If I were to gain access to those mons, they would not have that extra burn. But it seems like our extra shock got in there and won us that day. I'm really interested to see. Oh, here we go. So, we have a few options here. We can take the Guardian, but it's level 2. We can take a Guild Shell, but it has plus 20 damage. Or we can take Brawl Mantis with plus 1 multicast. And you might think, oh, Marco, you want Brawl Mantis. You already have that one. Here's the thing, though. A lot of these mons will not stay on our team until the very end of everything, especially because we're playing Youngster. As Youngster, you kind of, again, want to do that reroll thing midway through the game. So I fully expect all of these guys to go away. So any amount of scaling, like from Guardian or Multicast, it's not useful. Guild Shell is technically some scaling, but it's a lot of tempo. It's a 2-second attacking monster with plus 20 damage. So it'll be a 21 damaging monster with a 2-second cooldown. That's exactly what we need. Friends, we are faced with a tough decision. Do we want second Craghorn to multiply the scaling of our items? Or second Electronade for tempo? This is my philosophy when it comes to Batomon. You want tempo. And even then, we're still gonna get the green chip, which gives us 10 extra dollars if we win the fight. So, in a lot of other auto battlers, you'd want to spend all your money or like hold on to, you know, buy these to hold on to them for later rounds. Unlike stuff like Teamfight Tactics or whatever, you do not get the full amount back when you sell. So, you know, we bought Electronade for 25, they only sell for 13. So you only get half the sell price back. So, part of the strategy is knowing when not to buy. And this is one of those situations where we probably shouldn't buy. We're against a Swim Coach. Swim Coach is really interesting. They don't have any level 3s, so I fully expect us to win this fight really easily. Swim Coach is a very late game focused trainer. So if you see an early game Swim Coach, it's not too big of a concern. So we have 30% to roll uncommons, which are the greens, and only 3% to roll rares. That's not a lot. I feel really strong. We can just buy a chip and move on with our lives. And remember, all this time, we're scaling our guys. The Guild Shell is getting extra gold. It's an early Swim Coach yet again. No level 3 monsters, so effectively our opponent has no power. And I believe this is a pretty much done deal. They haven't dealt any amount of damage to us. And so that's quite unfortunate for them. We're almost halfway through the game. Oh, very interesting. So we could get a Formy Queen. Formy Queen gives adjacent common allies 25% reduced cooldown. But we already kind of have Spinnerai, and so it's not that useful. When I'm looking at this board, what I'm seeing is Shiny Pebble. Give your Rock Monster split 20 shield. Again, we want to buy every single item we see. And so we start seeing some of the rares. We see Humboldt, which is a flying electric type that gives 15 damage, shock to, but it casts twice. That alone makes it already better than Brawl Mantis. So I think I will buy the Humboldt and put him in here. We don't need to sell Brawl Mantis now. And the question that we want to ask is, Craghorn good? Because we could replace Craghorn with Guild Shell. Guild Shell has 2-second cooldown. Craghorn has a 6-second cooldown. So, you know, we can just do the quick math, right? Every 6 seconds, Craghorn will effectively deal, quote-unquote, 160 damage. Plus the 80 from here, and so we get 220. On the other hand, in 6 seconds, Guild Shell would deal 2 damage, 1 damage every 2 seconds, so that's 3 damage every 6 seconds. But remember, it procs 80 shock every single time it goes off, so that's actually 240 damage in 6 seconds. Plus, this scales cell value. So unfortunately, for as cool as Craghorn was, our build kind of wants to look like this. But we're keeping Craghorn. You know, there's no utility to selling Craghorn now. Seems like our opponent is also a slow scaling. They have a Boomagon. Boomagon can decrease the cooldown of other monsters, but it's a long-term scaling thing. Long story short, we have a tempo team, they have a scaling team. And tempo team wins out. Ooh. Remember what I said earlier about things that could scale whatever, Dragonfly. So we have 3 options here. We can touch the glowing gem to level up 1 monster. Level up is if you get 3 of the same monster, they'll level up and they get stronger. So you can do that to any of these guys. I don't think anybody is that important. We're not going to keep anyone long enough for that to matter. We can gain the Meteorite, which says your monsters with no abilities gain 20 damage permanently at the start of every fight. We have 2 monsters with no abilities. So not only is this tempo, because, you know, that literally doubles their damage. It also counts for future scaling. And then, of course, we could just get 40 gold. But we already have so much money that I think the Meteor is the most important part here. So we could get the voucher, get them on. So we don't want anybody in the shop, so getting voucher is kind of pointless. I think we're in a situation where 20% rares is good enough to start rolling. We kind of want to get some Humboldts based on what we've gotten thanks to the Meteor. We could get Frizzly, which, you know, is a 10 shock. Weaker than the Electronade, but this goes off at the start of the combat. Puffloon triggers whenever other toxic allies trigger. We're not really a toxic build, so we don't need that. Scorchimp is just Scorchimp. So I think we're going to start rolling. We can Magmalith. All the Lith monsters technically just buff other monsters of their similar type. Magmalith buffs fire monsters. Noxolith buffs toxic monsters. Brawl Mantis, we've seen. Bumbolt, we've seen. Bumbolt is also another monster with no ability. So I'm gonna buy that and hold that, and let's roll again. So we could buy the Black Sludge. No. Moss Slug. No. Cherubble protects your monsters from getting killed, because some other monsters can kill themselves. So for example, Electronade knocks itself out. So if you put a Cherubble behind the Electronade, your Electronade wouldn't knock itself out, and it could keep going and going. I'm not a big fan of that strategy right now, because we're kind of like just killing the guy. But we could just sell these guys now. Buy Cherubble, and then do this. And that, like, increased our strength a lot. Shogapede is a scaling bug monster. Every time you buy bugs, it gets faster. And Panbud is just a slow monster that deals relatively high damage for a common. We don't want anything here. Cicadans procs the monster on top. Yeah, 0 cost to get 5 if you win is pretty good. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just gonna keep rolling until I find buffed Electronid. So, you might have noticed this one. That's a shiny Pebbler. There are shinies in this game. Sometimes when you see a monster in the shop, it becomes shiny. The shiny version of the monster tends to have like a buffed effect, buffed stats, or, you know, something like that. So this one just scales better. But I think Pylong is where we want to be. Ally to the left has plus 100% shock. So the hope is that we're going to find level 3 Electronade, put Pylong next to it, and have that. Here we go! When you level up a monster like this, they will give you a gift. Gifts are relics. So what do we get? The first monster you buy each turn gets plus 20 damage. When you buy an item, get 1 free reroll. Your toxic monsters have plus 3 poison. Well, we're not a toxic build. This could be good, but we're already scaling these 3 mons constantly. So I think we just want to buy free rerolls. Like, we may already have free rerolls because we're the youngster, but why not hold more? I think we're at the situation where we could keep rolling. We have so much money. But exercising patience is good. We're already halfway through the wins, and we haven't lost a single time. So we can leverage our bonus health to be able to, you know, just tank some losses early. And so we're seeing the benefits of our build right now. Our opponent is stacking that burn, but we've stacked so much lightning shock on them that they could not stack the burn fast enough. Sweet, sweet, sweet sound of victory. Alright, so we have a Cherubble. Let's take the Cherubble. So we want to give this to the monster with the lowest cooldown. Technically, that's Humboldt, so let's put it on Humboldt. And then we can buy the blue chip. That's great. Let's reroll. Okay. We're reaching a situation where we can scale super hard. Okay. This is a Zephyrix. Zephyrix? Zephyrix. When Zephyrix goes, it permanently adds multicast to the monster to its right. Humboldt. So, I think Spinnerai, they're gone. And that's the team. I'm gonna roll down to 15 and see where we go. There's a second Humboldt. That's very good. That can easily replace the Bumblebolt. And I think we're going with the full shock build. Very interesting. Or against, so I actually main Monster Ranger. If we can do a Monster Ranger run at some point, I would really like that. So it seems like my opponent has a bug build, which is... which is really good in the early game, as you can see. That's our first loss. You lose more hearts the later in the game you go. I believe, yeah, there you go. Day 5+, you start losing 3 lives every time. Alright, we're out of these guys. Nope. Yes. We might find level... Okay, level 2 Humboldt is very good. Gives it +1 multicast. I think it has to be when monsters level up, reduce its cooldown. We could get... Voltaith. But I don't think Voltaith is good enough. Because we could try to scale the shock on Humboldt. But that'll take too long. We'll die before then. A Boomagon might be interesting. We are looking for a second Zephyrix. I mean, look, we could just do this for now. And see where that brings us. More Electronades, more damage. So right now we're going to be tanking some losses, because we are scaling Humboldt. Do we hope Lucky Girl isn't too powerful? Not too powerful, methinks. Yeah, I think we've already outscaled their damage. If Humboldt goes off another time, we win. There you go. Only 3 more wins and we're there, friends. Oh, this cool event. So basically, we get to get one of the legendary dragons. So, Saberhorn looks interesting. But But we're already getting so many multicasts on Humboldt that it doesn't matter. Draconaric we don't have any start of days. And Onestra, we technically have an ongoing, but for this to work out, we would need to... Okay, here's the thing. I think Onestra is the right play. And what's gonna happen now is we're gonna sell Cherubble and do this instead. So I've basically said, hey, my Electronade is only gonna go off once. But the one time it goes off, it's as good as the old one twice. So I'm, again, because Shock scales kind of like linear, exponentially, the higher the initial amount of Shock is, the better. We want the Focus Pill. Reduce the cooldown of monsters with no abilities by 20%. Mwah! Very amazing. That makes Humboldt even better. Okay, and we meet Dirgefin. This is why I want to roll on blue, rares. Dirgefin kills all common allies and enemies. If you were seeing opponent teams and you were seeing the slime, the panda, the monkey, all of those are common. And so if we look at the Batopedia here, right? Scorchimp, Panbud, Driblet, Pebbler, these are very common, and Guardiant and all of the insects, these are very common build-arounds during, the mid-game. And even some late-game builds will have commons in them. So I think it's good to buy Dirgefin, but Dirgefin isn't good enough to put into the team yet. It needs to be at least Dirgefin level 2. So we're gonna keep looking. And what we're looking for is Electronades, Humboldts, and Zephyrexes. There's Electronade. Top middle monsters plus 20 damage. That's very good because our top middle monster's going 5 times. And that's Dracana. Alright. Dracana says, on cast, charge the ally to the left, which means it lowers the cooldown on Humboldt. That's the team. We are so strong. Dude, Musician's very cool. I also want to do a Musician run at some point. Yeah, you're seeing you're seeing how good this is. So we're strong, we could take Purple Chip, which I will. And we technically want for nothing, we're really strong. But we're about to get to 9 and 10 wins. So at this point, I would want to roll down to get enough power so that I don't have to go later in the day. Youngster's really good as a power, but you're not Swim Coach. You're not going to be that strong in the late game. So we're going to start looking for level ups on our current Mons. And I know some of you might want to know what all of these Mons do. Don't worry, we'll see them all eventually. Just know that I know what they do. So it seems like Dirgefin's not going to be very useful. We're running out of space. We're going to go out of Dirgefin, get Humboldt. Oh, this is a really cool guy too. Long, no. So this is also part of a problem, is that space management is also oh. So Clonetic is a steel type, but whenever an ally inflicts shock, it basically goes faster. This ally's going a lot. The question is it worth losing 180 shock at the start of the game? I don't think so. We're gonna have to roll more. There's Zephyrex. Okay, just gonna lock that and go into the next fight. Hope that our tempo is gonna be enough to win us the next fight. And I assume it will be. Rich Lady, as some real. Oh gosh, it's all high rarity monsters. Oh no. Ugh. Yeah, that was pretty bad. So they had Blixie buffing their Blazewing, which gave us 1,500 burn. Some of the builds in this game, man. Alright, Zephyrix. Very good. All your monsters have 15% reduced cooldown. So why did I want to level Zephyrix? Remember this relic that we got earlier. Every time a monster levels up, reduces its cooldown by 15%. We also got this, which reduces all of the cooldowns by 15%. Zephyrix used to be 9-second cooldown, 6.5 seconds. Amazing. And then now we have a 2.7 second Humboldt. Okay. Oh, baby, let's go. Alright. We cannot afford to do Ancient Plume. We will die. So, Speed Crest is where it is. Now we have a 1.2 second Dracana and a 2.7 second Onestra. We want to buy a blue ticket because that gives us a chance of finding level 3 Humboldt. No. Alright. Search for an opponent. Hope it's not a rich lady. Hope it's not a swim coach. Lucky Girl. Fine. I'll take Lucky Girl. So this seems to be some sort of poison build. I think we're stronger. Yeah, I know we're stronger. That's the 9th win. One more and we become Batomon champion. And so what would increase our chances of winning the most? It would be finding the 3rd Humboldt. Humboldt? 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 There you go. On battle start, monsters gain plus 10 damage permanently. Our Humboldt has been scaling thanks to the Meteor, and now it gets even more from Warhorn. So right now, technically, our next upgrade would be a Pylong or Onestra. Ah, it's Oncetra. Huh. I never considered that. Alright. We just need the next win. So technically, Zephyrix is useless. I'm gonna buy Oncetra and keep rolling. Should have bought Pylong instead. Right, we're rolling down because we want to win today. If we win today, we don't need to worry about scaling in the future. But the game's not gonna give me an Oncetra, so we're gonna chill. We can afford to take 3 more losses. Or 2 more losses. The 3rd loss will kill us. It's a rich lady, which means probably a lot of legendaries. That's basically a team filled with legendaries, which is... Oh, so close! So, you know, let's diagnose what's happening here, right? The matches aren't lasting long enough for Zephyrix to be doing anything. Which means that getting a stronger Oncetra is more important. So I think we're gonna take Black Feather, which gives the bottom right monster +1 multicast and +3 cooldown. So I'm gonna just make our grenade go twice and give 720 shock to the opponent. I think Clonetic is probably better than Zephyrix now, so we're going here. And they're not giving us Onestra, huh? Oncetra. I keep saying Onestra, that's not the name of the monster. There we go. We're gonna go sell Zephyrix, get Oncetra. So, here's the question. Do we want when your monster gains stats, they gain 100% more? We're not gaining stats. Top middle monster has +1 multicast. That's really good in some builds, but our top middle monster already has 6 multicast. I think 3,000 health is actually where we want to be. Okay. This way, we may have a chance to maybe kill the opponent before they burst us down. If we had 3,000 extra health on the last fight, we would have won. Alright, so that's the panda. Oh, there we go. Bada bing, bada boom. No. Alright. We're Batomon champions! Woo! Alright, that's Batomon Showdown. Tell me if you want to watch more. I'm probably gonna record more, even if you don't tell me you want to watch more. I just love this game. It's so fun. There's so many different kinds of builds you can make, and skill. There's a lot of skill expression in the game as well, finding different builds and strategies. So tell me if you want to see more. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.